Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages and anything in between, this is Top 10 Tips and Tricks, Art Graders Edition. Kickstarting it off at number 1, Gear Fear Kills the Game. We all know that we have items that we have in our possession that we're nervous about losing. But at the end of the day, if you're worried about losing stuff, I could say don't bring it in. But we should all know by now that if everything was in constant circulation from you choosing to bring in your items, for example, if everyone was bringing in their Bobcats, their Tempest, their Stitches, whatever it may be, the game would be a lot more enjoyable because every single person you kill would have something, and it'd just be a non-stop swap fest between everyone because everyone would be repairing their items, so it's unlikely they'd permanently break. Everyone would be enjoying the game. You'd constantly have access to weapons that currently seem like rarities, and the game would be in a much better place. But because everyone is so nervous about using things, it's affecting the game in a negative way. I think that it'd be really cool if the developers introduced a system where, say for example, if you don't use the weapon within, let's say, 2-3 days after using it, then maybe it either auto breaks or it just disappears from your inventory entirely. I think that would be super cool because then it would completely incentivize people to bring in their best weapons. But yeah, the main problem at the moment with this game is things like gear fear, where people are too nervous to bring in weapons. So please don't do that. Bring in your best stuff. Enjoy yourself, because the better weapons you bring, the better stuff you'll probably be able to take out. If you run into a game and you're only using, let's say, a hairpin, I actually like the hairpin, but say you're bringing in a hairpin and other people are bringing in Tempest, who do you think is likely to win if you've got a green shield and a hairpin with a couple of bullets versus someone who's stacked on bullets with a Tempest and maybe they've got a heavy shield? Maybe they have a pink. They're more likely to win in a fight versus you. And don't have an ego and be like, oh, well, I'm better with skill. Maybe you are, but imagine how much better you'd be then with an even better item. So, highly recommended. Don't be nervous about losing your stuff. It should all be in constant circulation anyway. And once you have enough experience in the game, you realize it is quite easy to get your items back. Coming in at number 2, we have don't go for high value loot areas with free kits 24/7. Now this should be obvious, but unfortunately it's not. I've got into many trios, and I tend to play solo trios, and you might be thinking, oh, okay, that's a bit of a dickhead move playing solo trios, but hear me out. When I go into solo trios, I will follow the team around, and I won't necessarily ditch them. I'll only leave them under the conditions that they're not going to the high value loot areas. And the reason being for this is I will go to some, but it has to make sense. A lot of the time I'll load into a game, and these people are going into trios openly and trying to force the team when, let's say for example, the guy's coming with a free kit, and you can see that there's a bunch of people on your team who have, maybe it is medium shields, heavy shields, they've got their best weapons, and this guy's got a free kit and he's like, let's go to the dam control tower. I forget the name of it, but you know the one, the one that's the high value loot area. And he's trying to force everyone to go there, and all you're doing is going to get your teammates killed, which is selfish. And I understand you might think, well, I don't know them, so why would I care? But if everyone has this mentality, then it just becomes a toxic environment. So don't go for the high value loot areas with free kits. If you're going to do it with good stuff, so that when you play, you have a higher chance of making it out. Because usually, more often than not, even if you have the free kit and you manage to kill them, chances are that once you continuously play the game and you get towards the end, someone will eventually take you out. So even if hypothetically you manage to make it, where you've got no safe slot, okay, you have almost no way of making it out, and you probably don't have a raider hatch key because you're running a free kit, so you have to pray that someone on your team has it. In general, don't go for the high value loot areas of free kits. It's not worth it. It's much better to run what I personally use, which is nothing. I actually don't even take a weapon. I run literally nothing. Maybe I'll run 2 shield recharges, maybe 3, and like 2 or 3 bandages. And I just completely avoid fights. I loot everything. If there's a body on the floor that I managed to find, maybe someone chose to crawl and die in a bush because their teammate couldn't revive them, I find that. And I have found some of the greatest loot you can imagine on this game without having to fire a single bullet. Tip number 3, trust your gut more than your greed. This should be obvious, but unfortunately it's not. Most people get too greedy when they play this game. If you're running around and you have this burning desire, say for example you're on Stella Montis and you want to go to the medical bay, there's no problem with going to the medical bay, okay? There's nothing wrong with it. However, if you're constantly trying to find the best stuff in the game and you fill up your inventory, maybe you've got a couple of pinks, some epics, whatever it may be, and then you're like, oh, well maybe I can just get a little bit more. Maybe just a little bit more. You're pushing your luck. Okay, just take what you can get and get out. There's no reason to constantly try and up the stakes and then sacrifice possibly your teammates' gear. And that's another thing you need to take into consideration that kind of ties into my last point. If you're constantly trying to go to a location that is high value and the greed is taking over rather than your gut instinct, which is to survive, okay, you're going to make them lose their gear as well. So you're selfishly going to get your teammates killed for a potential chance at something else, when realistically you should be happy with what you already have and you should just get out and be safe and then go into the next one and regroup. Number 4, don't trust anyone. This should be really obvious. I'm not talking about teammates, I'm talking about randoms. When someone says to you, don't shoot, we've all seen the TikTok compilations, you can't trust anyone. There's many times that there's someone on the button, they've pressed it, the person manages to shoot them, sometimes they even get the finish off, okay, when they're in the actual extraction with them. Don't trust people. If their weapon is not holstered, keep your eyes on them at all times. All times. Hide yourself, don't go anywhere near them, or if you have to, maybe even take them out, but don't trust people on this game whatsoever. Always have the intention of not killing them. That's the most important thing. Don't always think, oh, well, he looks suspicious, I'm going to take him out. Because then you just start a cycle, and that person could have been friendly, and I've read it many times in comment sections online, where that person will then say, I trusted someone once, never again. Don't have that mentality. Every single person you see, don't shoot them unless there's something really, really bad going on. Say, for example, they keep switching weapons. You're hearing, like, maybe you've trusted them, they've gone into a separate room right next to you, and then you hear them get their gun out, then get your gun out just in case. Don't trust people. Don't believe what they say, especially if they have mics on. I've learned that people are super manipulative. You can't trust them. Just don't. Number 5, we have night modes and cold snaps. They will be your best friends for blueprints. We should all know by now that when you play the game, if you do the trials, you get double XP for doing night modes or cold snaps. But one thing that a lot of people do know, but maybe don't know to the correct extent, is how much of an increase you get on blueprints. And let me tell you, it's gigantic. I have so many blueprints, especially if I'm doing Stella Montis, where I'm a big believer that the easier the map, the less likely the blueprints are. So, for example, I would say Dam is the one that has the least likely chance of finding a blueprint. Then maybe, let's say, it's Buried, then probably Bluegate, Spaceport, and then Stella. Something along that sort of line. But Stella Montis is easily the best. I've found around 10 Aphelion blueprints, which is the legendary, I want to say sniper rifle, sniper rifle, I don't know. But either way, the blueprints are insane on that map, okay? Unbelievable. So cold snaps, night modes, easily do them. They'll be your best friend. Number 6, and I need you to trust me on this, please collect rubber, fabric, and arc power cells from every container you see. Most people don't bring enough bandages and shield recharges with them. The arc power cells and the rubber, you can make the shield recharges, and the fabric, you can make bandages. Obviously, you need the field upgrades so that you can craft it, but these are super important in staying alive. Most of the time, because people don't bring in enough, they maybe have 2 shield recharges, maybe a couple of bandages, maybe they have more, maybe they have 5 or 6, but it's still not enough. You always tend to find that people run out or they're scrambling for it if it's a long game. Maybe you're on cold snap and you're out in the cold and you're constantly having to heal, but just collect them from everything that you can, because it not only does it prevent other people from being able to heal and recharge, but it also just helps keep you and your teammates alive for longer. Number 7, don't upgrade all your gear benches. I don't believe it's worth it. This is going to sound super controversial because many people are like, no, we need everything to be level 3. You don't. Okay, for example, I'm a big fan of, I believe it was utility, because in utility you have raider hatch keys, which obviously are really good for things like cold snap, where there's much higher chance of finding blueprints and good loot, and then obviously luckily you can actually get out on a cold snap. Cold snap's great because it's kind of like an in-between of like a night raid and a regular mode, where you get more of like night mode benefits, but you get the regular mode benefits of being able to raider hatch out. So I highly recommend doing things like utility, and also the refiner is really good because you can help obviously make components for your weapons, for your upgrades, and things like that. But there's many which I don't recommend. I will say the explosives can be pretty good if you need things like the wolf packs, but maybe say the gunsmith might not be worth it. And a lot of people go, what, the gunsmith? Like, the gunsmith's definitely worth it. It depends. A lot of people, they'll upgrade it and they'll spend so much time finding the parts to be a level 3, but they never craft weapons. They only kill people and take theirs. So what is the point? If you're not someone who will do big upgrades, then don't upgrade it, because you're just wasting your time, you're wasting a couple of resources, and you can be doing much more beneficial things with your time. Number 8, you need to leave sooner rather than later. Don't keep leaving your extraction to the very last second. So many people camp the extracts. If you're one of those people who try to leave it until 20 seconds to go, I can give you an example. Okay, maybe sometimes you'll survive it, but the other day I was playing with my friends and we were doing one of the trials, and I believe it was collecting some sort of plants, I believe. And we were collecting a bunch and we had a ridiculous score, but we kept going for more and more and more. And then the boys wanted to wait into a building. I think we were on maybe 6-7 minutes, and we waited in there till like the very last 20 seconds. So we were in there for about 8 minutes, let's say, for example. Let's just go up a little bit. And when we finally jumped down, we were one of the first ones to jump because of kind of panicking. And I said to them, I was like, we got to really leave it to the last second. So the enemies that were already in there camping have pressed the button. We've jumped in. That team's fighting us. Then another team comes on top of us from behind and kills the next team. And then another team comes and kills them. So More often than not, loads and loads of teams wait until the very last second, so extracting sooner rather than later, you have a much higher chance of surviving. I often find that if I extract mid-game, most of the time I don't even get contested at all. Whereas if you extract at the very last second, chances are there could be 2, 3 teams waiting to pounce on top of you. And a lot of people know that if you do wait that long, there's a high chance that if you are the last one standing by some miracle, you might have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bodies down there to loot that have all been searching the map for 20, 30 minutes and are stacked. They could have unbelievable gear. Now, obviously that sounds really, really great. It's like, oh, well, I'd love to do that and get great gear. Yes and no. Obviously, it's great if you manage to win it, but chances are you won't. And if you've got a free kit, it's very unlikely you're going to beat them. So don't even think about that. You'll probably have to use a really good set of gear, but then you also run the risk of if you do leave it to the last second and you don't make it inside the extract in time, upon the detonation and the explosion goes off, you might just die in the wasteland. So it's up to you, but I would really, really say and suggest extract sooner rather than later, maybe with 8 to 10 minutes to go at like the maximum. But other than that, I'd extract honestly around even 12, 15 minutes, because 15 minutes you can do a lot in that time. And people try to say, oh, well, you know, you need to use the full 30. No, you don't. No, you don't. Whoever said this, don't listen to them. They're crazy. Number 9 is going to sound very similar to number 6. I know in number 6, obviously I said you need rubber, fabric, and arc power cells in order to craft things, but that's when you're in the game. Now, for number 9, I've got make sure you always keep at least a stack or 2 of the basic materials, such as metal, plants, seeds, fabrics, chemicals, rubber, etc. The reason being is you need to repair your green shields or your weapons. You need to craft different components all the time. So I highly recommend making sure you always have at least 1 stack spare and constantly filling it up. Definitely don't sell it. Okay, I used to be guilty of that. I used to constantly sell it for money because I know it's worth a lot, but constantly keep trying to make sure you have 1 at all time. The only one I would say you could sell is maybe the seeds, but even then the seeds you can use for certain things. Sometimes I don't have enough metal and it's like 1 seed for 1 metal. So I recommend having at least a stack or 2 of all time. Number 10, have fun. At the end of the day, it's a game, it's an extraction shooter. As long as things are constantly in circulation, you'll never be in a situation where you'll never see the weapon again. So just use it, enjoy it, experience it, have fun with your mates. Obviously, if at the end of the day, something goes wrong, try not to blame your mates too much. Obviously, if it's that one guy's fault, probably a guy called Dave or something, then by all means, you know, blast Dave. Say, Dave, what are you doing, man? You got us all killed! Go crazy. But other than that, just have fun, take it easy, don't stress, because it's a game. Things are going to happen. And a couple of little bonus tips for you, which I think this next one's actually quite huge that many people don't realize. Number 11, please turn off your backpack with lights. If you have a backpack on with lights, what are you doing? Okay, because believe it or not, I tend to find that the rats are the ones who do this the most. You know I can see you in the corner, right? There's many different things I try to do. For example, I try and tag corners if it's super dark from a distance, because then I can ping you without even being able to see you. But if you have a backpack on and it's got a light, I literally see you, bruv. I can see you hiding there. What are you doing? So I highly recommend using a backpack that doesn't have a light on it. If you're going to rat or not, just don't have a light. I can see you in the dark and it's getting you killed. It kind of ties in super similar, but number 12, don't wear bright colors. If you're wearing like an orange outfit or a bright yellow outfit, it doesn't make any sense. Now, to a degree, there are exceptions to the rules, okay? If you're wearing like a white outfit and it's on a snow map, legendary, okay? Perfect camouflage. You were probably in the military. It makes sense. If you're wearing a brown outfit on something like maybe Damn Battlegrounds or green, makes complete sense. If you're wearing a yellow one on maybe Buried, and you know, obviously Buried's quite like a yellowish, orangish map, that makes sense. But if you're wearing maybe, let's say, a yellow outfit or a red outfit on a white, snowy map, I can see you from a mile away. What are you doing? So don't wear bright colors. Try and wear an outfit that disguises yourself as much as possible. Obviously, black gets away with quite a lot. I mean, it's kind of cheating to a degree because, you know, especially on night modes where you can hide in the shadows, it's great when moving around and trying to be stealthy. So just don't wear bright colors because you're giving away your position and you're probably going to affect your whole team because you're going to bait yourselves out. Coming in at number 13, the hairpin's goated. Don't sleep on it. This weapon doesn't get enough respect. It deserves so much more. I use this weapon all the time. I'll often use a green shield and a green looting, and I'll run the hairpin, okay? At level 1 or level 2, this weapon's insane. It one-shots both the arcs that you see most of the time, which is the pop and the fireball. Obviously, you have to wait for the fireball to open up to show the white part of the inside under its armor. But I use it when I run around. The reason being is if I run no weapon at all, which I often will do as well, sometimes you can be in a situation where an arc can kind of pin you down if you're getting chased by too many. So I'll often use the hairpin just to take out them. Plus it's got the built-in suppressor so it can take them out without making too much noise. And then also on top of that, when you shoot other players, they don't really know where the bullets are coming from because it's not a consistent shot. It's not bang, 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 bang. Instead it's bang, bang. And if you choose to shoot at the correct moments, you can tag people a lot and you can really do some serious damage and take a lot of their health away. So don't sleep on the hairpin. Seriously, this thing's goated. And last, but definitely not the worst, number 14, constantly move, don't camp. Right? A lot of people will turn around and go, well, I like camping. You know, I get a little bit nervous. If you get nervous, that's okay, right? But if you're camping, your skill won't increase. More often than not, when campers actually start to finally move, maybe say you've camped, you've killed someone, and then you start to rotate around the map, as you move, if you end up getting caught and you're not in a camping scenario, you're not used to the movement and your gun skill, okay? So when you finally start moving and shooting at the same time, you'll often get outdone by the people who constantly run and gun. I highly recommend you're moving a lot because your skill will increase over time. You're not used to the mechanics, okay? If you're constantly camping, if you're really good at camping, then by all means, maybe you can win the gunfight if you're set up correctly. But if you've sprinted around a corner and someone else is sprinting around a corner, 9 times out of 10, you will die because that person has more experience in a gunfight and their reaction time is probably quicker because they've trained it more from moving around all the time. So I highly recommend doing that. And also in general, the more you move, the less you tend to find that you die. I know that sounds really counterintuitive because, you know, if you set yourself up in a position where you feel safe, you probably won't die as much. But it doesn't tend to work like that because once you make a certain amount of noise, people start to come for you and it's wave after wave after wave. And if you don't have enough bandages and shield recharges or even enough time, you know, maybe you've just had a fight and then you instantly get third party because another person comes. If you're constantly moving and rotating, you just don't go down as easily. So please keep moving. Your skill level will increase. You'll get better at the game and overall you'll have a better experience and it's more fun. You know, who wants to stay in one position for 30, 40 minutes? If you did enjoy watching and want to give suggestions on what I could do for the next video, then by all means, please do, because that will help me a lot in making content for another video. Other than that, if you did enjoy and you want to like, comment, and subscribe, I'd appreciate that very, very much. This is my first ever video. I love you all. Thank you very much. And yeah, peace. I'll see you in the next one.